Each year, it can be observed that there is an increasing number of overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, in our country. Results from the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, 2017 survey showed there are about 2.3 million overseas Filipino workers. One word that can be directly linked to being an OFW is the word migration. So what is migration? Migration is a human activity that affects those who move, those who stay behind, and the places where they go. One of the main reasons for the migration of OFWs is experiencing poverty or not being financially capable enough to meet their daily demands, especially when sustaining the needs of their families. Also, having a colonial mentality greatly affects their migration. The United States of America, specifically, is tagged as utopia, that living here would give one the best life, or also known as to live the American dream. This is due to colonialism and contemporary oppression. While a lot of people think migrating or being an OFW only affects the people they left behind, studies prove that the effects are two-way. Effects of migration are also evident in that person's life and not just their families that they left behind. To an OFW, their personal identity and cultural perspective may change, but assimilation or neutrality is solely dependent on them. Neutrality occurs as they live as if how they used to live back in their home country, due to the commonalities of both their own culture and the culture of the country they choose to migrate in. Assimilation, on the other hand, occurs when the OFWs adapt to another culture and in some cases try to hide their Filipino identity, identifying oneself as mestizo or mixed race in order to avoid discrimination. To their children, a lot of people may think that being an OFW parent is the best way to improve the lives of their family, especially their children. But is there a difference when the mother or the father leaves? According to researchers Ladres and Maritan, there are approximately 9 million Filipino children, or 27% of the total youth under the age of 18, are left behind by one or both parents. There were several effects that were identified by different studies when the mother is the one that leaves. A study by Cortez showed that the mother's absence has a stronger detrimental effect than the father's absence, especially in younger children. This is because younger children tend to internalize trauma and negative experiences until they grow up. They also found out that children 8 to 11 years old with migrant mothers are more likely to be lagging behind compared to children with migrant fathers. In the case that the mother leaves, fathers rarely take on the responsibility of taking care of their children. They may provide for them, but they are not as hands-on when it comes to child rearing. And on the other hand, when the father leaves, also mentioned by Cortez, the negative effects of having a migrant father increase as the age range of children increases. Children left by their fathers tend to feel discomfort, especially in communicating and connecting to their migrant fathers. Migration by fathers is also linked to negative effects caused by the absence of role models and authoritative figure to their sons, causing them to drop out more often. Children were also found to be fairly stable when fathers migrated, as mother carers appeared to accept the traditional role of taking care of their children. Parents work abroad to secure the future of their children, but their departure can leave the latter devastated. Grief is not limited to the loss of a loved one by death, but also by being apart from a significant constant of one's existence, which in this case is the parent working abroad. Bowlby's attachment theory also states that we become attached to our parents not only because of our blood relation, but also because of the established bond we have with them, such that we made distinct memories out of our interactions with one another. Even with a support network established from the presence of other attachment figures, family and friends, particularly the non-OFW parent, They won't be able to fill the emotional gap left by the specific missing attachment figure, the parent working abroad. Meaning reconstruction is also seen in Warden's 4 tasks of grieving. The tasks are 1. Accepting the reality of the loss, 2. Working through the pain, 3. Adjusting to an environment without their attachment figure, and 4. Moving on with life by finding ways to remain connected with the figure while remaining rooted in real life. In conclusion, working overseas remains a life-changing event that deconstructs and reconstructs the reality of both parent and child. It is important to note how parental migration affects children in all aspects, given these emotional, psychological, and physical effects. Somehow, it shows that these effects are brought about by the lack of involvement of children and understanding in the current situation of the family. Despite the original purpose of migration, which is the benefit of additional money, a lot of migrant households, including both the parent and the children, appeared to be unhappy about the choice they were forced to make.